Yes, we will start our today's seminar. Namaste to all the experts, my respected colleagues, and all dear students. Myself, Dr. Sarita Kabgate, welcome you all in today's seminar on behalf of Department of Agadtantra, Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Ayurveda. I especially welcome our today's speaker, Vishnu Jogaikar sir and Mahesh Savalgi sir. Today, in this August gathering of stalwarts of Agadtantra, we are going to talk about and discuss about two topics, which are toxicogenomics and Agadtantra in clinical practice. I think these two topics are very much important and core for Agadtantra. The toxicology is a rapid developing discipline that aids scientists in understanding the molecular and cellular effect of chemicals in biological system. And the another topic is Agadas, which is specialty of our subject. And with the help of and with proper use of these Agadas, we will be best good doctor rather than the Kai Chikitsa people. So proper use of these Agadas will definitely fetch some extra success in our practice. So we can say that the former states the problem faced by recent era and the latter is the probable or maybe solution of this problem. Before moving towards today's seminar, we will request our beloved Principal and Dean Professor Dr. Abhijit Patil sir to bless this webinar with his kind words. Over to Professor Dr. Patil sir. Kindly share some views.
Good morning, everybody. I welcome you all on this occasion of national webinar on Agadtantra. Sarita, are you getting me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes, sir, audible.
I welcome the Honorable Speaker of this webinar, Dr. Vishnu Jogaikar, Professor Emeritus, Department of Agadtantra Tilak Ayurved Mahavidyalaya, Pune, and also Dr. Mahesh Savalgi, Associate Professor, Department of Agadtantra, KLE University, BMK Ayurved College, Belgaum, Karnataka. I also welcome my departmental colleagues and head of the department, Dr. Sarita Kabgate, Dr. Prasad Namewar, Dr. Surajit Pawar, and Dr. Shobhit Dave. All the faculty members who are delegates, PhD scholars, and dear PG students. All we know that unavoidably this is the age when we are exposed to so many pesticides, fertilizers, chemicals, again the preservatives, colors, essences, and unavoidably when we are exposed to all these things, the people may get suffered from the ailments due to these adulteration and these chemicals. Now, when Agadtantra is the science of Agadas, if we could treat these ailments with the help of Agadas, it will be very relevant in today's world. At the same time, when we are exposed to these all toxicants, what would be the effect of these toxins on the genes of the human beings is another subject of study. And therefore, in these webinars, we have asked the experts to talk on the clinical aspect application of the Agadas and another toxicogenomics. Another topic is toxicogenomics. Dr. Vishnu Jogaikar sir is a very stalwart in this field of Agadtantra. Everybody knows him. Therefore, his words on this toxicogenomics, a topic which is comparatively newer to our field, because there are another two topics which are relevant or nearby with this toxicogenomics is Vishakanya. What happens to the genes of that Vishakanya, nobody knows. And when we talk about the Okasatmya, what happens to the people who have Okasatmya with particular substance. And therefore, these two topics are very important. I welcome you again and I appreciate the efforts of Department of Agadtantra of my college, all the departmental colleagues. They have organized this national webinar with a very hard efforts. Once again, I appreciate their efforts. Once again, I welcome you all. And now I request the Honorable Speaker, Dr. Vishnu Zoglekar, to talk on the topic toxicogenomics.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Now, I will invite Dr. Prasad Namewar, sir, colleague of my department, to introduce Vishnu Jogaikar, sir, which is just a formality because everyone knows about Vishnu Jogaikar, sir. Over to Prasad, sir.
Namaskar. Myself, Associate Professor, Department of Agadtantra, Bharati Vidyapeeth, DMTB University, College of Ayurveda, Pune, Maharashtra. I am here for the introduction. First speaker for the webinar, Dr. Vishnu Prabhakar Zoglekar. His lecture topic is on genomics is the understanding of gene and protein activity affected by toxicants on the human body. We all know there is no need of introduction. The first speaker, but as a part of the webinar, I will mention few things to make his complete one. Dr. VP Zoglekar sir is the retired professor from Tilak Ayurved Mahavidyalaya, Pune, Maharashtra, which is government-aided college. He is double postgraduate in MD Kai Chikitsa as well as MD Agadtantra, and his expertise in much more subject, many subjects. Like he talks on Swastha Vrutta, like he talks in clinical data management, like he talks on research methodology and samhitas as well. He is the executive editor. He was the executive editor of textbook of Agadtantra, which is available in English and Hindi version both, a scheme sponsored by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Editorial and review board member of JAIM and JOAY, the international journals. He was instrumental in the design and implementation of very interesting and ambitious program, Vaidya Scientist Fellowship Program. He is also pioneer in the designing and conduction of Gurukula. And overall, to summarize about his introduction, I would like to say he is such a person who is deeply believed in sharing his knowledge, rediscovering the concepts, and discussing the various ideas in the field of Agadtantra and Ayurveda as well. So I would request Honorable Dr. VP Zoglekar sir to go for his topic presentation or lecture on the topic toxicogenomics. Dr. Vishnu Zoglekar sir, the topic lecture is toxicogenomics.
Visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible. Please turn into slide mode, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, sir, but not in slide mode, PowerPoint mode.
No?
Yes, yes, now it is.
Okay. So we are already a little bit delayed. So I'll start with the topic immediately. Before entering the topic, I would like to bow to my Parakpara Guru, Vaidya Purushottam Shastri Nanal, even his disciple and Guru of my Guru, Dr. Bhavi Gokhale, And then my guru, who wrote Yashvanta Tika on Charak Samhita, Vaidya Gojoshi. I also bow to many of my gurus who showed me how to learn from the world. And at the start of this lecture, I would like to acknowledge my gratitude towards late Vaidya Avani Parambu Mahadevan Nambudripad, who was Gaja Chikitsak as well as Agadtantra expert. Whatever Agadtantra I have learned, it is from late Vaidya Krishnan sir. I also acknowledged Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Ayurveda, Department of Agadtantra, Vidya Abhijit Patil, Vidya Sarita Kamgate, and many more. So, with these acknowledgements, we will now enter the field of toxicogenomics. This term first appeared in the literature in 1909 paper by Noisir and others. In literature, it appeared in 1996, but it was already in common use with pharmaceutical industry, as origin of this science was driven by marketing strategies from companies. Is still not universally accepted. Others have offered alternatives such as chemogenomics. So basically, toxicogenomics is toxicology plus genomics. Toxicology is a wide-ranging subject dealing with all sorts of poisoning. Genomics is the study of genomes of organisms. And genome is the sum total of all an individual organism genes. The study of how genome respond to environmental stresses and toxicants is called as toxicogenomics. Here we have to differentiate between toxins and toxicants. Toxicants induce toxic reactions in the body, whereas toxins are in themselves deleterious to the body. Now, as I have heard this topic, I have come to understand that it perfectly describes Agadtantra. Collection, interpretation, storage of information about gene and protein activity to identify toxic substances in the environment can be visual identification of poisons. So one of the mandate of Agadtantra is Vishavyanjana, which is covered by toxicogenomics. Other thing is treat people at the greatest risk of disease caused by environmental pollutants and toxicants. So this comes under Vividha Visha Sanyoga Upashamanarapamcha. So toxicogenomics is part and parcel of Agadtantra. That is my contention. Only the technologies are new, but Vishavanjana and Visha Sanyoga Upashamanarapamcha are both sides of the equation. Agadtantra works and toxicogenomics also works. So there are various levels of genomics. Genomics is study of all the genes at various levels. Tissue level, cell level, DNA level, RNA level, protein level. In short, we can say दूषं देशं बलं कालं अनलं प्रकृतिं वयः सत्वं सात्म्यं तथा आहारम् अवस्थाश्च पृथग्विधः सूक्ष्म सूक्ष्माः समीक्षायां दोषौषध निरूपणे. So that sukshma is reflected in genomics. Tissue level, cell level, DNA level, RNA level, protein level, every level is examined in detail, and that helps us in doshaushadha nirupana. Toxicogenomics combines toxicology with genomics that we have already seen, and high molecular profiling technologies are used in toxicogenomics. These are transcriptomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. Another definition of toxicogenomics is study of relation between structure and adverse biological effects of exogenous agents. The omic technologies means methods of measuring families of cellular molecules such as RNA, proteins, intermediate metabolism. The exposure and outcome specific patterns of gene, proteins, and metabolites to identify molecular changes used as biomarkers of toxicity and can provide into mechanism of toxicity and disease causation. So here, one of the mandate of a Vaidya, Vyadhestatva Parijnanam, is covered in this area. There are various databases of toxicogenomics. Among them is Comparative Toxicogenomics Database, which is a public website. And this is a curated database. Means every entry in this database has been verified by a team of scientists. And that's why this CTD becomes a prime source of toxicogenomics information. This toxicogenomic database has gene chemical interaction and gene disease association. These are two parts of this database. So on the one side, we know how chemicals affect the genes, and on the other side, we have the associations of various genes to various diseases. Now, CTD is very big. So we need some web tool, user-friendly web tool for data analysis from this CTD. And that web tool is Tox Analyzer. We can use this tool to extract information from CTD. So various aims and methods. Toxicogenomics has three principal goals: to understand relationship between environmental stress and human disease susceptibility, to identify biomarkers of disease, and to elucidate molecular mechanisms of toxicity. So the typical toxicogenomic study might involve an animal experiment with 3 treatment groups of minimum 5 animals per group. One is high dose treatment group, another is low dose treatment group, and third is vehicle control group. The experiment resembles acute toxicity study. Now, why this toxicogenomics is important? Important in toxicogenomics is precision medicine engine. We can design personalized interventions with medications, supplements, and lifestyle changes. And in this, biomarkers, genetics are important ingredients. In addition to that, we have to have medical history. We have to review the lifestyle and review the diet. And by combination, we can design personalized intervention. Now we come to a little bit of historical part. In 1950s, discovery of DNA structure by doctors Watson and Crick with help of Rosalind Franklin led to a double helix structure of DNA, and this structure is important in all the development of toxicogenomics. You can see that toxicogenomics has a history of just 70 years. The DNA code was cracked by Dr. Hargobind Khorana in 1960. In 1970s, DNA sequencing technologies were developed. In 1980s, PCR technology was developed, and that led to Human Genome Project, which was launched, and first personalized therapy was approved by FDA in 1990. This Human Genome Project was supposed to get finished by 2000. The technology advanced. That this was completed in 2000. In 2000, Human Genome Project therapy was approved. Therapies attained 42% of cancer treatments. And cancer diagnostic and personalized precision medicine project taken up after that. Exosomes, PCR sequencing, germline genetic variants, all this workflows ended in PCR engineered adoptive therapy. And this was personalized immunotherapy as a result of toxicogenomics. Now, multi-omics is the new approach. Genomics is one part, epigenomics. How the genes get activated and deactivated by lifestyle, diet, environmental dependence, etc. is covered in epigenomics. And transcriptomics is genes are transcribed into proteins. But this is not a simple linear procedure. It requires very specific pathways, and those pathways are covered in transcriptomics. So genes, when switched on by epigenomics, and the pathway of transcribing is established, that is, messenger RNAs are created, and then these messenger RNAs give the one single amino acid, if it changes sequence, the protein is different. So proteomics is a huge branch. There are all types of proteins, and the explicit sequence, similarities and disparities are covered in proteomics. Then we come to metabolomics. So proteins, these are stable proteins. Whereas metabolomics, we deal with transient proteins. These are intermediate products of these epigenomics, transcriptomics, and proteomics. There are some intermediate molecules. For example, nitrogen oxide produces oxidative stress. So it comes under metabolomics. So all these omics, multi-omics approach is needed in toxicogenomics. Now, personalized medicine, the current scenario is prevention, which is early detection of patients at risk, improve preventive measures in individual and collective manners. Toxicogenomics helps here when a gene is associated with a particular disease. We can screen the population for variations in that gene. That is called as single nucleotide polymorphism, which is a screening method to know about who are going to be susceptible. And when we know that this person is susceptible to particular disease, then we can have preventive measures. Diagnosis, accurate disease diagnosis, enabling individualized treatment strategy. This is very useful in cancer, as we have already seen. Also in autoimmune diseases, that is true. And the diagnostic potentials of this toxicogenomics was clearly established in COVID pandemic. So, for treatment, improved outcomes through targeted treatment and reduced side effects. Here, the association of genes and chemicals is very important. Some people are fast metabolizers of certain drugs. So, in their body, the drug is short-lived. because it is metabolized fast. Whereas in other people, they are slow metabolizers. That means they metabolize drugs very slowly. So the same dose given to these two groups. In one group, it will be very short acting, whereas in other group, it will act over a long period. And maybe during this stay in the body, it may affect kidney, it may affect liver, it may affect lungs, and that's why it becomes risky to give these drugs to long metabolizers. On the other hand, in short metabolizers or quick metabolizers, we have to give repeated doses of the drug and the residues may become toxic. So, genomics is important for slow metabolizers and fast metabolizers, and also in many other aspects. So, therapy can be targeted in this personalized medicine. Now, Ayurveda goes one step ahead. What Ayurveda says, etaulinge prashamane roganam apunarbhave jnanam chaturvidham yasya saranagartho vishatpanaha. So we have hetu, risk factor analysis, then linger, that is diagnostics. In both these, toxicogenomics is important. For treatment, toxicogenomics is important, definitely. For secondary prevention or apunarbhava, toxicogenomics is definitely important, but Ayurveda goes one step ahead. Rejuvenation. Now, this is an area which we as Tantra people should explore. Which of Aveda are useful for which kind of genetic composition? Our next studies should be focused on effect of Aveda in different nucleotide polymorphisms. So that is a huge area where we can toxicogenomics from Agadtantra. The technologies involved in toxicogenomics are gene expression profiling of toxicant response, mechanistic influence from toxicant profiling, protein expression, metabolite analysis by nuclear magnetic resonance, metabolic profiling of toxicant response, and localization of gene expressions. Now, as we know, these databases are huge and they require integration of data. So integration of data from different domains like proteomics, transcriptomics, and metabolomics. Experiments are done in parallel and integration is done through advanced software and artificial intelligence also. Applications can be comparative or predictive, and second type of application is functional. For comparative or predictive approach, we measure the number and types of genes, proteins, and metabolism in the normal as well as toxicant exposed cells, tissues, and biofluids. There are various initiatives in the field of toxicogenomics. Chemical effects in biological systems. CEBS is a project hosted by National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences in USA. InnoMed Pred Talks assesses the value of combining results from various omics technologies together with results from more conventional toxicological methods in more informed decision making in preclinical safety evaluation. So before a drug comes into market, this InnoMed Pred Talks will remove thousands of drugs before coming to animal experiments. Open TG Gates Toxicogenomics projects, genomics assisted toxicity evaluation, a Japanese public-private effort which has published gene expression and pathology information for more than 170 drugs. The predictive safety testing consortium aims to identify clinically qualified safety biomarkers for regulatory use as part of FDA's critical path initiative. So this PSTC is a tool used by Food and Drug Administration for giving clearance to various drugs. See, in 1950s or so, drugs were not tested for such things. There was a drug called thalidomide, which was used as sleep-inducing or hypnotic agent. And many pregnant women also took this thalidomide. And then they gave birth to deformed children. And after that, 50 of drugs became mandatory before clearing the drug to market. And this safety approach is now in the hands of toxicogenomic people. This PSTC helps FDA to select which drugs can go to preclinical stage. ToxCast is a program for predicting hazard, characterizing toxicity pathways, and prioritizing toxicity testing of environmental chemicals at US Environmental Protection Agency. So, all previous things were related mainly to internal environment, whereas ToxCast is for external environment. In the Abhyantara Hetu, so the previous all things are related to Abhyantara Hetu, and ToxCast is related to Bahya Hetu. Now, CTD, we again come to CTD. It curates scientific data. That means a team of scientists will evaluate each and every data point before entering it into CTD. It describes relationship between chemicals and drugs with either genes and proteins or with diseases, taxa, phenotypes, geoannotations, pathways, and interaction modules. GO is genomics and other omics. CTD is unique resource where biocurators read the scientific literature and manually curate four types of core data: chemical gene interactions, chemical disease interaction associations, gene disease associations, and chemical phenotype associations. The database is maintained by Department of Biological Sciences, North Carolina State University. Now, important for us, and the cutting edge technology in toxicogenomics is about single nucleotide polymorphism or SNPs, SNP. Most common type of genetic variations among people are SNPs. Each SNP represents difference in single DNA building block, also called as nucleotide. For example, an SNP may replace a nucleotide cysteine with the nucleotide thymine in certain state of DNA. Simple. AGTC is replaced by T. Single nucleotide is changed, but the effects are wide-ranging. SNPs occur normally throughout a person's DNA, occur almost once in every 1,000 nucleotides on average. That is 4 to 5 million, 40 to 50 lakhs SNPs in a single person's genome. Now, these variations occur in many individuals. The same SNP can occur across the population. To be classified as an SNP, variant is found in at least 1% of the population. Now, current world population is around 78 billion. So, to qualify as an SNP, 1% of that means 70 to 80 million. That is 7 to 8 crore people should have that particular single nucleotide polymorphism. And scientists have found more than 600 millions of SNPs in population around the world. 60 crores. So 60 crores different SNPs are found in the world population. Most commonly, they are found in DNA between genes. Means genes are separated by non-converting genes, silent genes, silent DNA, and most SNPs are found in silent DNA. But they can act as biological markers. They can identify people with certain profiles. They can locate genes that are associated with disease. So when SNPs occurs within a gene or regulatory region near gene, they may play a more direct role in disease by affecting gene's function. So we have 60 crores of SNPs. Only if we only take 2 or 3% of those SNPs residing in a gene or regulatory region, still we get some 20 to 30 lakhs of SNPs which are responsible for diseases. Most SNPs have no effect on health and development, but SNPs help predict individuals' response to certain drugs, susceptibility to environmental factors such as toxins, risk of developing diseases, and SNPs can also be used to track inheritance of disease-associated genetic variants within families also, such as heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Ayurveda uses Prakriti examination for this task. Prakriti examination is essentially based on phenotypes, whereas if we combine it with toxicogen, we will get a much better idea of disease susceptibility. Means Prakriti analysis can be enhanced with the use of toxicogenomics. So the take-home message of this lecture, in my opinion, is toxicogenomics is an advanced tool for dosha aushadha nirupanam. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, Sarita Madam.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for enlightened throwing light in this session, because this topic is really very difficult to understand, but up to certain level we can grasp something from here. I will ensure all the participants that the recording of this session may be provided to you if you ask personally. So you can text me, Sarita Kapgate. Now I will invite Surajit Pawar sir for introduction to introduce Mahesh Savagi Mat sir. Over to Surajit sir.
Namaste, everyone. Myself, Dr. Surajit Pawar, Assistant Professor in Department of Agadtantra, Bharati Vidyapeeth Demtu University College of Ayurveda. Our next speaker is Dr. Mahesh Savalgi Mat sir. He is working as an Associate Professor in Department of Agadtantra, KLE University, BMK Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Belgavi, Karnataka. He is having more than 14 years of experience in teaching as well as clinical practice. He has delivered many talks and actively participated in various national and international seminars. Today, he is going to present his lecture on the topic clinical application of Agadas. I request Dr. Mahesh sir to start with his presentation.
Mahesh sir, are you there? फिर से आए वो हाँ वो नीचे गए होंगे ना फिर से। Are you there, Mahesh sir? We cannot hear, sir.
Hello. Menon sir. Hello, Menon sir. Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, I will do, sir. Sudeep sir, please unmute Dr. Mahesh.
Sir, unmute from your side. Sir, unmute from your side. Your video is lagged. Okay, no problem.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Can I share my PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes.
एक मिनिट PPT हँग आहे. Sir, my PPT is visible. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay.
Right now we can see blank slide.
Yes, my bad. Okay. Namaste and morning to one and all. Sorry for the inconvenience. And at the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to be here. I was little busy with some of international. We have one conference on software subscribe. So, okay, let's start the topic. There was a girl in 16 or 17, one patient, like it was, uh, she was daughter of one of my former Jesus patient. She was 18 years old and she was brought to my OPD, my clinic. Actually, my clinic is I run in OPD, but still her father just came to me with a complaint of vomiting after having solid foods for last 7 to 8 months. She was studying second PUC at the college, and what happened is 8 months back she had typhoid, and she was treated for some 20 to 25 days. Both OP and IPD treatment was there. I think probably most often uh, antibiotics were given, IV and oral. And later, she started suffering from vomiting after taking solid food. So then they consulted, in last those 7 8 months, they consulted all the modern doctors, general medicine and gastroenterologists also. Even endoscopy was done, entire GI mucosa was normal, and even some Ayurvedic treatment was also given. So when she came to me, when she was brought to me, at that time she was carrying some maybe some 2 3,000 rupees antibiotics and probiotics and all. So he was telling about that, and I told her, "Are you interested in taking Ayurvedic medicine?" So he readily agreed because he was free from his psoriasis problem, maybe some 5 6 years since that. So they agreed, and first they went back to the medical shop where they purchased medicine so that they can take back the medicines. Fortunately, they took back, and my assessment was I diagnosed it as Agni-Mandya due to antibiotics. So due to over or prolonged use of antibiotics, there was Agni-Mandya. Agni-Mandya is not something like anatomical change which can be seen on endoscopy or something like that. So I diagnosed it as Agni-Mandya. As Grana Shakti is lost, so vomiting and diarrhea usually chances to be there. So now woman, Cherdi was there. So I gave her Yuadia. 1 month treatment was given. First 10 days, 2 tablets twice daily it was given with buttermilk before food. Means before she used to take ganji or something like that. Sometimes even juice or coconut water like that. So it was given. And next 20 days, 1 tablet twice daily. Again, Takra was given. So with this treatment, I started some certain kind of diet like after 1 hour, what we do something like the peya like that. So first 10 days was like Yavagu kind of like started with manda, then it reached around Yavagu, semi-solid type of food. Then gradually khichdi or something like started. So by the end of first week, when we moved to Yavagu consistency, I think maybe he was not at all having any vomiting, even not even nausea. So by the end of 15th day, we started with normal diet. He started taking normal diet, and 1 month she was normal, and was sent back to the hostel. Means she in a span of 1 month, she became ready to even have hostel food. So just because of one medicine that is Bilwa Degada, along with that, but diet is also there, which is very important. So why I gave Bilwa Degada? My diagnosis was Garopatha. I think you may be knowing there is a formulation called Murvadi which is explained as remedy for Garopatha. So I at that time in my clinic I had no Murvadi I thought that only. So as Murvadi was not there, Bilvadi is there, Visuddha, Jirna, all those are there. So I started with Bilvadi and we got very good result. Now there is one doubt when we say like the condition was not at any Visha, but still I give Bilwa formulation which is used for treating Visha. Why? Because here there is one reference. This is in Sushruta, in Luta, Akita Visha 8 chapter. Agadtanami विषयजुष्टस्य युज्यते निर्विषयमानते युक्तो गदः सम्पद्यते असुखम्. Sorry, whether my voice is echoing?
A bit small.
Slightly it is echoing, sir.
Okay, same your voice is also like that. Okay, no problem. What is said?
Sir, kindly can you keep your mobile away from your laptop or the device
Yes,
from where?
Yes, ma'am, that is far only.
Acha, okay.
I think I will remove earphone and speak. Let me see.
Yes, try that.
Hello, am I audible? I think I need to change the setting.
Yes, sir. You are audible right now.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah. Voice is clear now?
Comparatively better.
My slides are visible?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I was using earphones, so that may be the problem. So what is said there, Agadanami Sanyoga Vishajishtasya Yujyate. So Agadas are to be used only in the conditions where Visha is there, means where we have diagnosed exactly the patient is suffering from Visha. What is said, Nirvishay Manave Yukto Agadaha. If it is administered in a person who is not having Visha, then what is said? Sampadite Asukam. Asukam means it may cause some Vikriti, some Vikara, some complications. So that is why what Acharya further said, Tasmat Sarva Prayatnena Jnatavya Visha Nishchayaha. So that is why we need to put in all possible efforts to diagnose whether the patient is having exposed to, whether he or she has exposed to Visha. If Visha is there or not, that we need to be assessed. So in this condition, yes, there is no direct, Visha is there, but we used Agada, Bilwadi Agada. So how it can be, how it is to be understood. So then what is the meaning of Agada? What we mean, what we have to consider the word Agada in this phrase, Agada Nami Sanyoga Vishajishtasya Yujyate, because very commonly we use Bilwadi Agada, Dushi Vishari Agada, Dashanga Agada, Murvadi Agada, even Kshara Agada also we use. So when the acharyas are telling Agadanami Sanyogo Vishajishtasya Yujyate, and we are using in a conditions where probably there is no direct, what you can call direct Visha. Maybe due to occupation or diet and all, what you can say, due to biomagnification and all, we are getting exposed to so many, what you can call so many toxins. Maybe because of that, we can consider we have Visha. But still, we need to understand what is Agada means. In Chaturvimshati Upakrama, we get three particular, words or terminologies: Aushada, Prashamana, and Prativisha. Now, what is the meaning of Aushada? Aushada means, generally speaking, it is given for treating Hetu. So that is what we have to consider. It is Avisha Yoga. Like what we have all prescriptions, like Gurvadi Agada, Bilwadi Agada, Dushi Vishari Agada, Dashanga Agada, even Mahasugandhi Agada, all those things come under the category of Aushada. They are Hetu Viprita, they are given for the Hetu, but they are not having Visha. Prashamana means the drugs that are given for dosha. To make it very clear, for example, I'll take case example of Ketavisha. Now, scorpion sting is there. There is severe burning sensation. So for that, what we do, external therapies like Grita Saindavadhara or Arkapatra Sweda and all, that comes under the category of Prashamana. So that cannot not always dosha Prashamana, even what you can call Daha Prashamana or complaints, Lakshana Prashamana. Whatever Lakshanas are caused, what we do for treating that Lakshana, like Daha is there, for example, in a viper bite and all, there we give Chandana or Ushira, Chandana Ushira Sheka and all. So that is Daha, that is for treating the Daha. So that is Prashamana. Like patient is vomiting, patient is having chardi. So what we give chardi hara drugs or chardigna drugs, that is prashamana. Like patient has developed shota. So for that we give shotagna drugs like punarnavadi kashaya or gokshur or anything. So they all are like prashamana. They come under the category of prashamana. Now what has set in that problem? What has set in that problem means the bite or sting or any exposure of visha. What medicine we give to that comes under the category of aushadha and prativisha. So aushadha is for hetu, which is not having any visha in it, whereas prativisha is viparita visha prayoga, exactly opposite visha prayoga, which can be considered in this context. When we consider the meaning of Agadhanami Sanyoga, in this context, what we can consider is we have to consider it as Savisha Agada. Why? Because it is explained in the context of this Agadhanami Sanyoga Vishartanam Visha Justasya. It is explained in the context of Luta Visha, and in Ashtanga Sangraha Vishopayogi Adhyaya, Acharya Vagbhata says Visha Prayoga in Luta Visha is contraindicated. So he contraindicates administration of Prativisha in Luta Visha. So that means it is very clear that Agada, the meaning of Agada in the context of Agadhanami Sanyogo, there it means it is Savisha Agadas or Prativisha type of administration. So I think it is clear here what Agadas means. Agadas come under the category of Aushadha. So we will discuss about clinical application of few Agadas. So by what we saw now, whatever we discussed, based on that, we can make Agadas into two categories, that is Aushadha and Prativisha. Savisha Agadas are Prativishas, Nirvisha Agadas can be considered as Aushadha. Okay, or Agadas can be considered Savisha Agada, Nirvisha Agada, Aushadha and Prativisha. So in this, what we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss about Nirvisha Agadas, which are nothing but Aushadas. So and we use them in doubtful conditions. That is what, again, I think it could have been come there after Agadhanami Sanyoga. Why? Because even these Agadas, particularly Dushi Vishari and all, in the context of Hrudyavarna, again from Sushruta, Kalpasthana first chapter, there it is Hrudyavarnam Nityam Kuryacha Mitra Madhyagaha, Vibhed Kritam Ajayakyam Amrutakyam Cha Buddhiman, and goes on. Some Mamsa Prayoga and all is there. So here, what is said? Nityam, daily, means even before the Raja or the king got exposed to poison, that Raja should do Hrudaya Avarana, Hrudaya protection should be done daily. Hrudaya Avarana is to be done daily on daily basis using Gritam Ajayakyam, Amritakyam, Ajaya Grita, Amrita Grita and all, Buddhiman he says. And it is actually explained for both Hrudaya and Mana. Mitra Madhyaga is said for Mana, for giving, positive environment or creating positive attitude and courage and all to overcome depression and all. For that, it is said Mitra Madhyaga. Now, let us see what commentary says. Dalani says, Hrudaya Varanam, Hrudaya Achhadanam or Prachhadanam. So, Hrudaya Raksha Karibir, Mushika, Ajaruha, Amrita, Ajaya, Puranagrita, Dushi Vishari, Mahasugandhi, Shimbi Yusha, Tikshna Vishagna Dharana Adibihi. So in this, two are there, Bhana and Dharana. Now, for example, Mushika, Ajaruha, they come under the category of money and all. So they are used for Dharana. Others, like for example, Amrita, Ajaya, Purana. These are Amrita Grita, Ajaya Grita, Purana Grita, Dushi Vishari, Agada, Mahasugandhi Agada, Shimbi Yusha. These all come under the category of Pana. So both are explained, Dharana and Pana. So that means even the Agadas means Aushadas, that are Dushi Vishari Agada, Mahasugandhi Agada, what we call, they all come under the category of Aushada, which can be used even as preventive measures, like even in absence of Visha in the body, they can be used. How to approach again in Vishopyogi Adhyaya, Ashtanga Sangraha, Uttara Tantra. So what is said before this? No, it is Visha Upadravi Adhyaya, Vishopadrava Prashamana Adhyaya. So there what is said, Acharya explains all the treatment for all the different types of Upadravas, and last he says other things, other manifestations which are caused as a result of Visha, where are the conditions where we are going to use Vishagna Aushadis. So how it is to be approached? Pratikuryat yata swamcha rogeshu enam pareshu cha. Pareshu means other diseases which are not explained in this context. How it is to be done? Doshanu bandhanu bandham alocha vishatantra avirodataha. So dosha bandha means whatever clinical presentations are there, those we have to consider, and what etiology is there. Like if we are considering Visha is the etiology, so we have to consider that etiology as Visha. For that, we have to use Agadas or Aushadas and Dosha Anubandha, whatever dosha manifestation is there. For that, we have to give Prashamana, that is Kashayas, whatever dosha or Kashaya or Lakshana, according to Lakshana, whatever Kashayas or other formulations or medicines we give, they are to be considered in that context. So like that, we need to understand. So we'll be discussing about these 5 Agadas, which the first first 3 we commonly use. Murvadi and Ksharagada rarely we use, but we use them. So that is why we'll be discussing them. Now, coming to Bilwadi Agada, many times what happens now, whenever most of the platforms, whenever I tell how effectively we use Bilwadi Agada, people feel like we are exaggerating. I'm really, personally speaking, I'm against exaggeration. Even wherever negatives are there, even in my presentations, I claim them. There were some negatives, whether they occurred on my part because of my fault or something like that. So I don't bother in claiming negatives also. But I'm not exaggerating. So this Bilwadi Agada, it's one of the wonderful drugs which can be used in day-to-day clinical practices. Now in this, most of the times what happens to people say like we reside in urban areas, we are in city and all where we won't get bites and stings and all. Why always we should think of bites and stings only when it comes to Agadas? Agadas are very effectively used in other conditions also. Most of the times, commonly people ask one question like, sir, students ask that, sir, ingredients of Agadas, when we look into them, they are very Tikshna, Ushna, Sukshma in nature. For example, Bilwadi Agada, Dashang Agada, if we consider. And sir, Visha is also Tikshna, Ushna and all. How it's going to act on them? So there, actually, I was searching that image and I was not able to get that. In one of my presentation, I have put one image of um, like Indo-English war, like Indians fighting British. Like Indians were holding, in that image, Indians were holding some swords and all, and British are attacking with the guns. Now, is it possible to win guns by just by swords and all? It's very difficult, or most of the times not possible. So Visha is like guns. Like Visha is like attacking our body with the guns. So we need to answer the guns by guns or even more potent drugs, like potent efforts. So that is why our Agadas, whichever Agadas are there, they all are so Sukshma, Ushna, Tishna in nature. And again, one of the important thing in this is Hita Ahita. The very important concept explained by Charakacharya, that is Hita Ahita. Same Ruksha, if it is Ahita, it acts differently. Same Ruksha, if it is Hita, it is coming from Hita Dravya, it acts differently. Same, like Agadas are having Tikshna, Ushna, Sukshma properties as a Hita Dravya, whereas the Vishas are having Tikshna, Ushna, Sukshma properties as a Ahita Dravya. Like for example, Parthenium is having very, Tikshna, Sukshma properties and all. But same Parthenium, if we use, it causes respiratory allergy and all. Similarly, same kind of, aromatic Tikshna, Sukshma properties, if we consider from Tulsi or what you can consider Vana Tulsi and all, Rama Tulsi and all, Krishna Tulsi and all, you can see same is there, but it is having better, beneficial effect on respiratory system. Same. But what is it there? Hita and Ahita. Okay. So based on that, it should be considered. So now Bilwadi Agada. Bilwadi Agada, as it is said, even whatever indications are there, they are 100% practically working in those conditions. Like Bhujanga is there, simple. For example, it is snake bite. So soon after PG, right now we are not dealing with bites and stings. Stings, sometimes insect bites, stings and all we get, rarely, but snakes, 100% we are not dealing. So after my PG, I was there with one of the great traditional snake Vishabaidya in Kotakal in Kerala, Manmatan Avanaparambu Nambudaripan, Maheshwaran Nambudaripan. So I was there with him for 2.5 months. So one evening we got a patient of cobra bite, and patient was brought, actually carried in clothes like bed sheet and all. He was having ptosis. He was not able to hold his neck and not able to speak. He was having slurred kind of speech, and there was dribbling from the angle of the mouth. So then sir was preparing. He told he will prepare, like he has to ready that Jivaraksha Agada, Jivaraksha Gulika. So what he told, by the time I prepare, get ready, that it takes some 5 to 6 minutes or 10 minutes to ground it with milk and all. It's very fine. Hard tablet will be there. So he told me to do till I come, you give Bilwadi Agada, Anjana and Nasya with Tulsi Swarasa. So in his garden, there is Tulsi was there. So Tulsi was collected, ground like just maceration, and we got Swarasa of that. In that, one tablet of Bilwadi was grounded, and I think by the time sir reached, came to the patient, I gave some 6 times Anjana and 6 times Nasya with that. By that time, by 6 times Anjana and Nasya, continuously in span of 6-7 minutes, it all was done, and patient doses was gone. Patient was able to hold his neck and dribbling from the angle of the mouth gone. And he was able to, facial expressions were also changed. Now what happens? Many times when we look into the ingredients and all, we start to underestimate ourselves, like our formulations and all. इसमें simple bill है, बिल्वा मूल है, क्या तुलसी है, simple drugs है, how can they act? No, they all are having their own potencies. We should not underestimate them. And Luta Visha 100% in all types of vesiculobular presentations that come with the Luta Visha. We 100% give Luta Bilwadi Agada. But here what is very important thing is when we are using Agadas, as I told, Agada or Aushada, Prashamana. So Prashamana is also to be given prime importance. So what we are giving Agadas we are giving for the Hetu, that we should keep in mind. Like we gave Agada and we should not leave the patient. Agada is going to work on the pathology that is already set in and it's going to prevent further damage. But whatever has occurred now, already symptoms or signs have been produced, whatever damage has already been occurred. So for that also we need to treat. Okay, so for that purpose, we need to give Shamana Aushadis. Like if swelling is there, Shota is there, we have to give some Shota Hara drugs or Shota Hara Kashayas and all. Chardi is there, some Chardigna drugs. Like Bilwadi in itself acts as Chardigna. Like that, Daha is there, Daha Prashmana. And some Lepas we want to give. Like that we have to give. Okay, like one important thing, another important thing is Luta Visha when we give Bilwadi Agada at that time, usually it is Pitta dominant, Patola Katolinadi, or sometimes Chandan Ushiradi Kashaya can be given, or fever is there, Amrutotra Kashaya can be given. Like that, it can be given. Now, Undur, I don't know, I have not used, we have not seen any, Mushika Visha. Vrishchikadamsha, 100% it works, but external also we need to give. External for an immediate pain remedy, as a remedy for immediate pain, that severe acute pain, we need to give some local treatments like that. What is that? Grita Saindava Dhara, or even Ajaji Saindava and Grita Barjana, that is Jeera, Saindava and ghee should be fried. It should be fried and given as Upanaha at the site of sting. So that also is very effective. Visuchika. This is very important. I have actually I proposed this to some other my like friends in other colleges. They got even permission for that also. Like they have got one project on that. Like Bilwadya Visuchika means all types of food poisonings we can very effectively use Bilwadya. Till today in my home, whenever anybody suffer from GI, any GI problems, usually loose motion or that type of things, we use only Bilwadya. Nothing other than that. Only Bilwadya. If sometimes some mucus stool and all is there, Bilwadya with that is Tadi Mastaka Churna with Takarate can be given. But Bilwadya is very effective in all cases of GI infections. You can, irrespective of diagnosis, you can use them. Only thing is, if patient is having hyperacidity and all, then you should give it with Takra, Sadhya Takra or something like that, which is not going to further aggravate. It can be given. Ajirna Gara Chora. So Ajirna, same, due to Ajirna, Chardi is there and all, like what I told, I gave Bilwadya in the patient who was suffering from frequent vomiting as a result of antibiotics, prolonged use of antibiotics. So I consider that as Garopatha powder. So you can think of the conditions where some other cause is there, some toxic cause is there, or regular cause, but clinker presentation is there. That type of this Ajirna or Usuchika type of presentations are there you can use. One of the added benefit of this is compared to other formulations, Agadas, if you remember, that they are Tishna, Ushna, Sukshma in nature and they are more fast acting. They are very fast acting compared to normal medicines, normal conventional Kaya Chikitsa type of formulations. I'm not discriminating any branch, but I'm telling because Agadtantra is a branch which deals with emergency medicine. So whatever medicines are explained in this context, all are having acute effect. Immediately they show better quick effect than conventional medicine. So that is why we can use even in other conditions where Bilwadegada can be used, like in case of general GI infections, patient comes with vomiting or loose motion and all, there it can be used. Now, second part, what it is said, Bhuta Vigarshitascha. Now, Bhuta means most of the times people think, like usually students and all, many times they ask Bhuta means whether it is like black magic and all that type of Bhuta or something like that. Some evil spirits and all. It's not like that. Bhuta, we need to consider them and under the category of Sukshma Krimi, like virus and all, we have to consider. If you can read from Graha, Balagraha and all, or their Naigamesha, all those things are explained. They all come under the category of Bhuta. So they can be considered as some viral infections and all. And in viral infections, Bilwadegada is very effective. Very effective. It gives very good result in case of viral infections. Even in case of prevention of fever and all, I have seen during my PG that in Kottakkal, they used to give whenever in Kerala, they frequently there was, uh, viral fever we used to get viral fever. So whenever 2 or 3 people or some 4 or 5 people get a fever in the college, they used to supply. They used to give Bilwadegada to everyone in the campus, including teachers, staff, and students. We used to take for 3 days, and there will be no further incidents of fever, viral fever. So in viral infections, it can be used very effectively. Like for example, conditions like what is that molluscum contagiosa. Actually, I wanted to keep this out of dermatology, but as I practice dermatology more, so giving examples from that. So that is I have not put any image of any skin condition in this. So I wanted to make it more of Agada than derma. So molluscum contagiosa is, as name only suggests, it is contagious. So we treat molluscum contagiosa with Bilwadegada internally and externally. Externally, we mix Yavakshara with Bilwadegada and give for excel application. Internally, Bilwadegada is given directly. You can search like one of our article is published on molluscum contagiosa. You can Ajagalika in the name of Ajagalika. You can search and you can find out like same formulation, same thing is used. So Bilwadegada is very effective in such conditions. We can use. Next comes Ksharagada. Now Ksharagada recently I have started using because one of my student did study on Ksharagada and we prepared more. And whenever I feel like the condition is showing more infections and all in such conditions we use. Like for example, last 3 or 4 months back, one of my again skin example only I have to give because one of my psoriasis patient came with something adverse went with her with a diet or something like that. She got swelling all over the body, lesions got almost fresh. At that time we gave Sharagada for 10 days and I think in that 10 days span she came back to normalcy. Matlab, psoriasis is not reduced. How minor psoriatic lesions were there, as there was no edema and all, there was no severe, erythematous presentation and all. All those things came back to normalcy. She became of a normal psoriasis patient, like what or you can say normal means not so severe kind of psoriatic patient by giving Ksharagada. So Ksharagada is very potent and it is very effective. Here it is said, Ajirne Grahani Doshe, what is it? Ksharagadoesha, Sharkara Ashmarishu cha, Arshasu Vatagulmeshu, Kasa Shulodareshu. See, these all are prepared not out of conventional pathology. Conventional pathology is also there, but Hetu is also there. For example, now Vatagulma, Kasa Shula Udara. Kasa Shulodareshu, Ajirna Grahani Dosha means it is telling about Amashagata Visha or Amashagata Dosha or Pakwashagata Dosha. In such conditions, if we see Kshara Prayoga is very commonly explained by even general Kaya Chikitsa line of treatment when it comes to Vata Purna Koshtata and all. That too, particularly Pakwashagata Vata and all is there. Kshara Prayoga is preferred. So Ksharagada is having similar kind of indications. In this, why I gave Ksharagada in that psoriasis patient was because In this, Shota is there. Sarvasari means whole body swelling was there in that patient. And I thought like more of inflammation kind of presentation is there. So Ksharagada will be effective. So we gave Ksharagada in that patient. Murvadyagada. Murvadyagada, I recommend all the people who, if you are practicing Ayurveda, to keep Bilvadyagada, Murvadyagada, and Dashanga and Dushi Visharagada in your clinics, because these all are very potent medicines, which maybe in span, if you start using them for 2-3 months, you will develop a kind of good hold on them, and you can, by changing, for Anupana and all, you can use them very effectively and give sudden results also, immediate quick results also, which usually the people want in general practice, like in rural area and all. If you are practicing where the patient wants quick outcome, so in such conditions these are very effective. Now Murvadyagada, as I told, it is said, it is indicated in Garvapata Pavaka. It is also available in market from SD Mayurved Pharmacy in Karnataka. So what it is, Murva, you can prepare also. If you get genuine Murva, you can prepare. Otherwise, you can purchase from the market. Murva Amrita Natakana Patoli, Chave Chitrakan, Vacha Musta Vidangani, Takraka, Ushnambu Mastubihi, Pibed Resenava Amlena. Now in this, understanding the Anupana, so many Anupanas are given here. Takra is there, Ushnambu is there, Mastu is there, Rasa, that is Mamsa Rasa is there, Amla Rasa is also there. So depending on the condition, means Acharyas have given this formulation for all sorts of Agnimandya. Whether it is causing Amajirna, whether it is causing Vidardhajirna, whether it is causing Vistabdhajirna, depending on whichever type of Ajirna Agnimandya that Agnimandya is producing, we can use these formulations, these formulations by changing the Anupan. Like for example, Takra is there, Ushnambu is there, Mastu is there. Like Takra we can use if the patient is like Sadhyaska Takra, like if we feel like a kind of gastritis type of presentation where burning sensation and all is there, there we can use Murvadyagada with Takra or even Ushnambu. Mastu is there, okay, like more of Kapha or Kleda is there. In such conditions, we can use Mastu. The patient is emaciated due to Agnimandya, like Garopa, Gara, in Garavisha only that is there, Kasha, what is that? Tenadito Binna, sorry. I forgot Garavisha selection. Okay, there Karshita is there. So, like if Karshita is caused due to Agnimandya, in such conditions, if the patient is having, we can call like non-vegetarian, or patient can take Mamsarasa, then Murvadyagada can be given with the Mamsarasa. Amlena, Amlarasa, when more Vata is there, when we want more of Vata Anlomana and all, and patient is not having Pitta Prakriti or like what you can call Amla Pitta, whether Urdhvaga or Adhoga Amla Pitta type, means if it is not Vidagdhajirna, in such conditions, like most often in case of Vistabdhajirna, we can use Murvadyagada with Amlatranga. Okay, so it is very effective. My one example I will tell you. One day what happened, I had some outside food which was not compatible, means which was not suitable for me. I had lots of paneer and all. And next day morning, I had a kind of nausea type of thing. I tried for vomiting, but it was not possible. And then I came to our department. We were about to have breakfast, but I was not willing to have breakfast. Like around 10:30, we wanted to, it was during COVID second lockdown, I think, at that time. So we used to conduct classes in hybrid mode and all. So at that time, we used all in our department used to have breakfast in like it was like a brunch in department. So around 10:30, we have to have that one. So I was not like wanted to have that one. I was having kind of nausea, but it was not vomiting even after drinking water and all. So then I took two Murvadyagada just with normal water, chewed them and drank normal water, normal cold water. And in 15-20 minutes, I started, having so much of appetite that I brought some 3 chapati and all that, and others also from others plate also I had that much Agni Vriddhi did. So I told you, I'm not exaggerate. I never exaggerate. So I'm telling you exactly what happened with me only. So Murvadyagada is so effective. We can use Murvadyagada. Now Garopatha means what we have to consider. Most often, like patients who are on long-standing medication. For example, we have to take medicines for a prolonged period, like for example, diabetes, hypertension patients, chemo patients, or anti-epileptic drugs. Whoever is taking prolonged medication or any infection is there, prolonged infection is there, patient took medicine, then the patient developed after. Most often it is seen after the completion of the treatment, patient developed a kind of anorexia or something like that. In such conditions, we can very effectively use Murvadegada. Murvadegada is very potent drug which can be used even in case of like Murvadegada. We can be used even Garopada Pav means not only in Agnimandya. What is that? It is the Sutra Mudrani. Mande Agnav Sutra Mudrani. For all the diseases, Agni Manda is the root cause. So in all the diseases, if you feel like Agni is Manda, there you can use. Even wherever conditions where you want to go for Tikta Dipan, like for example, in case of you want to give Shamana Sneha, Snepan, Shodhana, Snepan and all, commonly we give Chitraka Devati, Aragardani, or some Agni Tundi and all. In that place, you can use Murva Agada also means we have to bring our Agadas into mainstream. Because they are very effective, we need to bring them to the mainstream. When we start replacing conventional medicines, which we use, I'm not telling we should not use, but if feasible, we can use our medicines. Okay, this can be used very effectively. So any medicine induced, any, just a minute. Sorry, power. I forgot to connect the power cable. Okay, so anything like any medicine induced or even in case of Dvistartha Chardi and all, where the traveling section sickness will be there, like motion sickness will be there. There also we can use Murvadya Gada very effectively. Dushi Visharya Gada, uh, very commonly we prescribe Dushi Visharya Gada. Now, what will be the difference between Dushi Visharya Gada and Bilwadya Gada or the Shanga Gada and Murvadya Gada? Here, we need to think about the conditions where these formulations are indicated. Like for example, Bilwadya Gada indications, if we see what is said, Bhujanga Lutondura, Tikshna Visha, immediate manifestations, acute manifestations are there. Murvadya Gada is also that. Bilwadya Gada, sorry, the Shanga is also like that. Kshara Gada is also like that. So when it comes to those four Agadas, it is acute manifestations are there. So they are more Tikshna, more fast acting. Right. When it comes to Dushi Visharya Gada, if we see that Visha itself, it is slow in action, delayed manifestations are there. It doesn't mean that Dushi Visharya Gada is only used in delayed manifestations. If you see that Anyeshu Apicha Rogeshu, no. What is said? Dushi Vishartam Suswinnam, Urdom Chadascha Shoditam, Dushi Vishar, there it is. Other diseases also it can be used. Something is happening to me. Sorry, I forgot that quotation. So in other conditions also Dushi Vishaya Agada is said to be used. So if we see Stavara Visha Veganusara Chikitsa, in Stavara Visha Veganusara Chikitsa, wherever the word Agada is explained, there in the commentary, Dalana says Agada means we have to use Dushi Vishaya Agada. So Dushi Vishaya Agada doesn't mean that it should be used only in delayed manifestations or late manifestations, but can be used in acute manifestations like oral poisoning also it can be used. But generally speaking, when the presentations are slow in onset, which show periodicity in their occurrence, like what is said about this Dushitam Desha Kalana, Divasopne Rabhishnasha, whenever the exposure is there, clinical presentation, that type of presentations are there. In such conditions, we can use Dushi Visharagada. So all types of allergic manifestations which are caused due to anything, whether it is food or a chemical or a drug or anything, even environment like solar allergy, something like that, or anything where As a preventive also you can use, like if a patient is going to has used prolonged medication. So like for example, chemotherapy and all, or fracture management, or some open surgery was there, major surgery was there, patient was treated with antibiotics, analgesics for over a period of time. So after that medication is over, then you can switch to Dushi Visharagada, which is going to prevent the delayed effects of that particular medicines, those medicines which were used. So Dushi Visharagada can be used for delayed manifestation, delayed clinical presentations also. It can be very effectively used. Now, in general, we use in skin diseases mostly like allergic manifestations, like urticaria, or any kind of Paduka Visha or Abharna Visha, or any kind of contact dermatitis also we use. We even use in psoriasis also, because psoriasis shows the recurrence. Wherever repetition of clinical presentations are there, there it can be used. In my home, we use Dushi Visharagada for all respiratory allergies and all. In Belgium, very often we get, like my children get cold and all due to climatic variations. Whenever there will be more rain and all, here cold and rain both will be more. So at that time we give Dushi Visharagada with honey. Now, so Dushi Visharagada can be used in other than skin conditions also, like in case of what is that respiratory infections and all. In case of, if you go to the first chapter, I think I forgot to put that quotation, I think. First chapter, there is one condition like Pakwashagata Visha. In Pakwashagata Visha, Acharya have recommended Dushi Visharyagada. Dushi Visharyagada is first, there is some treatments are explained, some like after that, Nilini and all, Virechana, something that is explained. After that, Acharya says if it is not there, if it is not possible, why is there? If you are not able to, if you don't want to go for that, then you use Dushi Visharagada with Madhu and Dadi. It is recommended with Dadi. So there, Dushi Visharagada matra is Kola matra. One Kola is said, like 12 grams it is to be used. Now consider Pakvashagata Visha. Pakvashagata Visha, if we consider the Lakshanas, they come under to the kind of Vistabdajana type of, like Admana, Atopa, Agnimande is there 100%. A kind of constipation will be there. Sometimes even nausea, vomiting is also there. Sometimes there can be Amashagata or Pakvashagata also. Both will be there. Pain abdomen will be there. In such conditions, we can use Dushi Visharagada. That is what is the clinical presentation of Pakvashagata Visha. So same presentations very commonly we see in the patients who take anti-hyperglycemic drugs like diabetic medicines or anti-hypertensive drugs, who take prolonged, for long duration they take those medicines. They will be having the complaint of bloating. They'll be having a complaint of frequent, like weekly 2-3 times they'll be suffering from hard stools, or what you can call a kind of constipation. They will be having sometimes hyperacidity, Adman, Atopa, that type of presentations will be there. So in such conditions, Dushi Visharagada can be very effectively used. Okay, so whatever the clinical presentations, if they are matching with the Pakvashagata Visha, so those can be, in such conditions also, Dushi Visharagada can be very effectively used. Now, Dashangagada. Dashangagada, what is said, the Vacha Hingu Vidangani, Saindavam Gajapipali, Pata Prativisha Yosham, Kashapena Vinirmitam, Dashanga Magadam Pitwa, Sarvakita Visham Jayat. Sarvakita Visham Jayat. Now, one of the important thing about the Shangagada is Sarvakita Visha, it is said, for all types of Kita Visha. Pittaja Kita also there, Kafaja also there, Vata Pittottara also there. Okay, generally Vata Pittottara Kita. So in those conditions, what happens when we look into the insect venom, what it does in the body? Insect bites, usually insect venom is usually having cytotoxic and neurotoxic effect. Most commonly they show that cytotoxicity and neurotoxicity means neural damage will be there, and nerve end damage will be there, and simultaneously they got cytotoxicity. Because of that, there will be skin lesions, skin presentations will be there. So whenever there is any kind of infectious presentation about the skin, you can give the Shangagada. I have a kind of, Bilva Degada versus the Shangagada. Both have similar nature, both are having similar kind of action. So when infection is not so severe, not acute, so in such conditions I go with Bilva Dekada. When it is very acute and very severe, at that time the Shangagada is very effective. We can use the Shangagada in such conditions. The Shangagada can be used even in respiratory infections also. acute respiratory infections also we can use the Shangagada very effectively. Now, non-healing wounds. In case of non-healing wounds also, Sushrutacharya has said that I think in the context of with the Dikta with the context. Kita Visha Chikitsa. Acharya said in Dikta Visha Chikitsa, he told Kitavat Sadit. Kita Visha Chikitsa is to be administered in that. If we see Dikta Vidya, apart from the poisonous presentations or due to Visha, whatever presentations are there, systemic presentations. Apart from that, whatever local presentations Acharya have told, they all come close to a non-healing or a gangrenous wound. They come close to a gangrenous wound presentation, which is having foul smell, oozing, peeling of the deeper tissues, ugly appearance of the wound and all those things will be there. So those all type of presentations are there as a external presentations, like local presentations in case of Digdavidya. So in that, what Acharya has told, Kitavisha is to be administered. So in Kitavisha, what is said, Dashangagada is Sarva Kita Visham Jayat. So in all types of non-healing wounds, I'm not telling that only this. As I told, this is for the Hetu. We need to add Shamanas. Like we gave Dashangagada and we left the patient. No. Whatever external Seka and all, Panchavalkala or Tripla Seka, whatever type of thing you are, Karaskara Seka, whatever you want to do, you do. Suitable or not want, whatever are suitable, they are to be done. External therapies are to be done. Internally also, along with the Shangagada, whatever medicines if you want to give, like Asnadi Kashaya, Nimbadi Kashaya, or whichever you feel suitable for that presentation, that also to be added along with the Shangagada. So this gives faster healing. It enhances healing, and it gives very good result in very short span. Okay. Another important thing is particularly when it comes to herpes management, herpes, 80 to 90% of patients develop post-herpetic neuralgia, mostly little aged, above 40, fourth decade or 50, above 50 aged people. If they develop herpes, they very commonly develop post-herpetic neuralgia, which is very severe. Suffering from burning sensation of herpes is better than that of post-herpetic neuralgia. So in those patients, we have very effectively used Bilwadegada and Dashangagada along with Tiktagrata. 100% not only Agada, but Tiktagrata. Tiktagrata is Shamana on the empty stomach, and in the empty stomach, like 1 or 2 teaspoons, it should be given as per your requirement by assessing the patient. And Dashangagada, if it is given, I give 1 BD. If I give Bilwadegada, I give 2 BD or 2 TID. Okay, so that gives very good result in 15-20 days of span, 100%, like 6 months, 8 months or year-old post-herpetic neuralgia can be prevented or it can be cured 100%. Now, reverse, if we can understand it in other way, like if we treat herpes presentations with Kitavisha Chikitsa, like Bilwadegada, adding Bilwadegada or the Shangagada with conventional Shamana drugs, what happens? We can 100% prevent post-herpetic neuralgia. As I told, Ketavishas are cytotoxic as well as neurotoxic in nature. They cause a kind of nerve irritation. Because of that, severe burning or post-herpetic neuralgia and all will be there. So when a formulation is used specifically for Ketavisha, that means it will be having effect on all those pathology or all those areas of the adverse effects or the pathological effects of that Visha. It will be having repair effect on them. So it will be having effect on the nerve. It will be having on effect on the cells, like that. It will be acting against cytotoxicity, neurotoxicity and all. Now, coming back to conventional area. Now, what if we use these agadas, like the Shandagada or Bilwa Agada, in non-Visha neuritic conditions? 100% there also we get very good result. In case of other like pains, other pain like neurogenic pain, non-neurogenic vascular pain and all. Whether if it is neurogenic kind of pain, in such conditions, the Shangagada can be very effectively used. I think. Okay, that's it. What I wanted to say. So these are the 5 agadas which we commonly use. I ask everyone, if not Ksharagada, leave Ksharagada, it's not available in market. But all the 4, Bilwadegada, Murwadegada, Dushi Visharagada, and Dashanagada, these 4 are available in the market, and we can use them very effectively, and they give very good result in clinical practice. So that's it. If any questions are there, you can ask me. And sorry for inconvenience, and I have not prepared correctly because I had some issues. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I can see one question in chat box. Sachin Kulkarni is asking, can we use this Murvadi Agad in Grahani Dushti?
Yeah, actually, I copied that slide from just a minute, man. Whether my slide is visible, this?
Yes,
The
sir.
slide is visible, yeah. So I actually took that Murvadi Agada. I have done a presentation on role of Agadtantra in the management of Grahani Dosha. So Murvadi Agada is very effective. In this only I have explained that one, Murvadi Agada. The Murvadi Agada we can be used very effectively in Grahani. There it is, huh? See, Murvadi Agada is, I have explained it, and we use this even in IBS patients. We can use Murvadi Agada very effectively.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I request all the participants to raise their questions in chat box, or they can ask in by their own also. Most of the comments are related to very informative presentation. Thank you, sir. This is compliment for Mahesh sir and Jogekar sir.
Thank you. I'm very fortunate to share the dais for the second time with Joglekar sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's always good to hear Jogekar sir, very enlightened person. I can see Goswami sir also on screen. Sir, can you add something from your side? उनको ये करना पड़ेगा रे. Goswami sir. Or participant can raise their hand so that we can unmute the participants and they can ask questions. Samta Tomar hand raise. I can see hand raise of Samta Tomar. Sudeep sir, can you unmute her? Allow mic. Yes. Samta madam, please unmute from your side so that you can ask the question.
I think Pradeep Jadhav has also raised his hand.
Yes. Sir, till that we can, I can see one question in chat box. Is Jiva Rakshak Gutika available?
No, madam, it's not available in market.
Okay.
But if anybody is having contact with like Papincheri Vishwachikitsa Kendra or some traditional Vaidyas in Kerala, they can provide you.
Okay, I can see one more question for Mahesh sir. Which agat can be used in acne vulgaris and tinea corporis?
Usually we do not use Agada in acne, but for fungal infection we can use Bilwadi Agada. but
Okay.
not in madam, but for not in all conditions, like even in like acne or this tinea, if it is showing more of like infection, more redness is there, or suppurative kind of lesions are there, pustule type of presentations are there, in that condition we use bilwadegada with like no, nimbadi kashaya or patola katronyadi kashaya and all. But generally speaking, in both acne and um, tinea, we generally in other like dry presentations and all we do not use. Like I told, in type when infection or inflammatory kind of presentations will be there, there only we use.
Okay. One more question from.
आरगवधादी कषाय and Sariva Churna externally are very good.
For acne
Thank you,
vulgaris.
sir.
Yeah, even acne and tinea both.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, sir, for this addition. One more question in chat box. Can we use the agat preparation in children easily in regular practice in their respiratory disorders or in respiratory disorders? Yes.
We use ma'am, like my children are like one is 8 years, another one is 4 years. And we use both Bilwadegada and Dushi Visharagada. Bilwadegada for GI related complaints and Dushi Vishari for respiratory complaints. We use, but those will be very less. Like for example, 8 years for him, we give Bilwadegada half thrice daily. For my daughter who is 4 years, one Dushi Visharagada in 4 parts. Per day, one tablet, crushed, and 4 parts is made and it's given with honey.
Okay, means those variation with
can
those
be
variation
used
we can
as
use.
Will be different, but we use in
Tulsi Vishari Agat can be used as Vatatapik Rasayan lifelong.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Can be because in the context of Hrudyavarna, it is said Hrudyavarnam Nityam Acharit Mitram Madhya. In that Hrudyavarna, what is to be used? In that commentary, it is said that Dushi Vishari, Mahasugandhi, Amrita Grita, Ajay Grita, that means they are recommended for daily use also. So it can be used for prolonged period also, but in between giving some gap will be useful because it contains Gairika. That is the only mineral we can say. So it can be like maybe one mandala is given, then a gap of 1 week, again one mandala or something like that. It can be done, which we usually do in psoriasis patients. Like we give Dushi Vishari for preventing recurrence, like after Virechana, 1 or 2 times Virechana. Every 3 months, I ask the patient to take Bilwa Dushi Visharagada for 20 days. Every 3 months, 20 days. Gap of 3 months, 20 days. Like that. For preventing recurrence, it will be good.
Okay. Rajni ma'am have also asked one question. Can we use these agadas in pediatrics? That we got the answer. Next is pediatrics का one. हाँ, खालित्य पालित्य. Yes. Can agat be used in खालित्य पालित्य?
I have not used it, ma'am.
Okay, but we can try.
Can be if like if we justify, if clinical presentation or some history is there, like dye induced scalp allergy and all, in such conditions we can use, but as such direct Kalitya Palitya, I'm not sure.
Okay. Can we use Dashanga Agad in ulcer due to varicose veins?
Yes, ma'am, we can use. We can use.
Yes.
Can use. Healing, it enhances healing. So for healing, wherever it is needed, there we can be used. It can be used.
Yes. One more question is there from Megha Dubey. Is there any book available where we can read about Agada clinically?
I think whatever I told, it's there from Samhitas only. I think Samhitas, like as such textbook, I don't know, but Samhitas will be the best source of reading. Repeated reading, it will be good.
Any inputs from Jogaikar sir on this question? Any textbook available for Agadas?
I think Dr. Nitin Urmalia has published recently one book.
Okay.
And probably in textbook of Agadtantra we have covered many Agadas, but that is just for just the pharmaceutical part of that. The therapeutic part is probably covered by Dr. Nitin's book.
Okay. I will request Nitin sir if he is available in this meeting. He can share that book name and details in our NAG group. Moving to next question, can we, Mahesh sir, can you elaborate the role of Agada in addiction like tobacco and cocaine?
We have not tried, madam. Sorry,
Okay.
very sorry.
Okay, then this may be the area for our next research. Um, is there any specification for doses for children in allergic respiratory conditions?
Not as such, ma'am, but we can follow that pediatric what Kashyapacharya says now, like churna. Churna dosage form is said. So our agadas are practically in churna form only, maybe because in text we won't get any form of our agadas. So they may be in churna form, probably. So if we consider the Kashyapa's dosage of according to age, what churna form is said, that same can be used, same dosage can be used. Or generally speaking, as I told, under 2 years we usually never give. About 2 years of age, if we are giving Dushi Vishari about 2 to 3 years, half tablet per day in divided doses. Half tablet only powdered and one pinch, one pinch, one pinch like that it can be given for licking with the honey. After 3 to 4 years, we can give one tablet 4 times, means half tablet previously for one day. Now in third, fourth year, we can give one tablet whole day. After 5 years, we can give one tablet twice daily. 2 tablets can also be given. Can be
And
depending on the
for
condition
Kheerap,
also it can be changed.
for Kheerap children, we can use the Agadas in the mother.
Yes, sir. Yes, that can be done.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That can be done.
Yes. One more question from Daisy Singh. I think it is answered already. Can we use agadas in urticaria? So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
can use.
I use
Yes.
Duchi Visharya.
Yes. Yes. Um, for external from Manjula, one question is there for external application Nasya Anjan. What all agadas are? What are the agadas can be used?
For external application, usually Bilwadegada we can use. Like Bilwadegada indication itself is there. Pana, Nasya, Anjana. So Anjana and Nasya, it is done usually. It can be done. But for Kita Visha, sometimes we even give Bilwadegada external application.
Yes.
Bilwadegada external application with Tulsi Sarasa or Nagvali Sarasa or water. Warm water, it can be used for external application. Others, I don't know, madam.
Himavan Agan, in our department, we use Himavan Agadas, so sir. It is also very good for herpes zoster and some
Mandali Visha
pittaj.
Vikar.
Yes, Mandali Visha. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. I think all the questions from chat box is covered. One question from my side for Jogaikar sir. Sir, can you give a brief how to use concept of toxicogenomics in Agadatan for Agad people?
See, first thing we need to know is about gene sequencing, the basics of genomics we need to understand. Unless and until we understand those, we cannot use it in Agadtantra as it is. But for all the diseases in Viruddha Ahar, Shandyanda Visarpada Kodaranam Viruddha, that is a long list. In that, we can find the single nucleotide polymorphism, which can be associated with these diseases. And Viruddha Ahar is a concept where toxicogenomics is very much applicable, because Viruddha Ahar is not Viruddha for everybody. Some people are more susceptible for specific kind of Viruddha Ahar, whereas other people don't suffer at all using same Viruddha Ahar. So here, role of genomics and epigenomics is important. So we should concentrate more on clinical side whenever a case presents and we exhaust all our options. We can think of genome sequencing and finding out single nucleotide polymorph.
Yes, thank you, sir. One more question from Shah. Sir, how is toxicogenomics be applied in Viruddhahar concept? That I just explained actually.
Yeah, see, toxicogenomic approach is basically searching the databases for associations. Now, in Viruddha Ahar, there are n number of diseases which are enlisted. For those diseases, what are the gene associations that we can extract from CTD, comprehensive database? Uh, then we can advance test the person for specific gene mutations.
Okay.
This is particularly useful in blindness. Andhatva is a consequence of Viruddha Ahar. That is what the texts say. There are large number of blind people in the world and in India, and the reason may lie in toxicogenomics. That is my general impression. I have not researched those databases, particularly for Shandya, Andhya, etc. But this can be a very good topic for MD dissertations, exploration of Viruddhana from toxicogenomics point of view.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you for this answer. This will instigate us for new topic, Viruddhahar and toxicogenomics relationship. We will definitely work on this, and for further guidance, we will come to you only. Sir,
I think
moving towards.
Had raised a hand.
Okay, I cannot see any hand raise.
Sir, Dr. Prasad Namar speaking.
Yeah.
One more question, the extension of Kapgati ma'am question regarding toxicogenomics. That we know the Ayurveda is observation-based medical science with a different theory of understanding of human body, that is with Tridosha, Saptadhatu and Trimal. How it can be correlated with such a modern perspective toxicogenomics topic? Because it is entirely different, the entirely different understanding, visualization is there.
Yeah. You see, Ayurveda believes in particulate inheritance. Bija Bhaga Upatapti and Bija Bhaga Dushti are part of the disease process. That is what Sushruta says or Charak says. Bija Bhaga and Bija Bhaga.
Sir, one more question that
Voice.
you told that there is. Hello, sir. There is one more question from my side. That you told that there is application-based utilization of toxicogenomics in diagnostic perspective and personalized medicine. But already Ayurveda is a personalized medicine science, and as far as diagnostic perspective is concerned, we have a study of hetus, we have a study of prakriti. On that basis, we can early diagnose if anything is going to happen in the future.
Hetus and study of prakriti both combined form toxicogenomics, because each hetu doesn't affect every person in the same manner. There is okasatmya, there is kula prasakta prakriti, jati prasakta prakriti. Different kinds of prakriti are there, and they modify the effect of hetu. And toxicogenomics gives us an understanding about how they modify. What are the associations? What are the frequencies? So toxicogenomics can be a supplement
उसको
to
mute
our
करना.
phenotypic prakriti determination. Phenotypic prakriti determination supported by genomics and epigenomics can give us comprehensive knowledge about how a particular person is going to be affected by various hetus, what are the disease outcomes in that, and what kind of treatment should be used. All these aspects can be enhanced with modern technology, and we should not hesitate to use modern technologies, because they are the gifts from biomedical sciences, not modern medicine as such. It is technology, and we can use that technology with our perspective.
But sir, the thing is that it needs different expertise to understand the concept, because that are not as easy as we think. It is not only the word genomics. There are different aspects, there are different issues to understand in detail.
Can I add something? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah. Just like, see, toxicogenomics is basically a kind of predictive toxicology. It's used basically as a predictive toxicology. Like simple example, like what you said, Vata Pittotram Ram Sadhyo Harati Jivitam. Means that was a way of prediction of effect of Visha based on basic principles. Our science say that Vata Pittotram Ranam Sadhyo Harati Jivitam. Means if the person is of Vata Prakriti or Pitta Prakriti, Vata Pitta Prakriti, in those people, Visha acts faster than others. Now this is told in text. So to establish this, what we need some scientific database or scientific source or tools wherein toxicogenomics helps. Very importantly, toxicogenomics, we need to consider it as predictive or preventive toxicology. We need to use it for the purpose of predictive or preventive developments. Now, what sir was telling is very important, like prevention of new age mutations due to new age chemicals and all. So these all are based on predicted. They can, like, no need to subject all or use same, like whatever data is already available. With that data, if we are able to get some idea that these people are going to suffer from develop some mutations, or maybe their progeny or somebody is going to get some genetic problems due to particular chemicals. For example, there are so many pesticides used which come through our vegetables, food and all. They come into our body. If we are able to make out, like in an area, for example, in Belgaum district, most of the people are prone to develop mutations due to one particular pesticide. So if we come to know that, we can come out with some policies so that in Belgaum region, that pesticide cannot be sold, should not be sold, or it can be banned. Or we can plan like which of our agadas or which of our formulations can be used to counteract the effect of that particular pesticide or something like that. So application of toxicogenomics as a predictive toxicology is very important. Like, it's very useful. So in WHO, they have one more of like pharmacovigilance. There is one more vigilance like toxicovigilance, which is for us. There is one concept or one division itself is the toxicovigilance. So toxicovigilance, what it does, it does a vigilant observation of poisons, mostly fertilizers and pesticides used in particular area, how much they are used, whether they are used judiciously or not, whether people are developing any disease and all. So they mix the toxicogenomics with what is that? Toxicovigilance. This is to be mixed actually in India, it's not done. But in Western countries and all, they have mixed toxicovigilance with toxicogenomics. By that, they can regulate, they come out with some regulatory, things, so that this person should not work in this field. This person should not work in lead industry. This person should not work in like some other like particular chemicals and all. So that is very important, which can be used as a tool to come out with develop preventive agada, what you can call preventive agada practice. Toxicogenomics help can be taken. I think I may be right or not, but
Yes.
I thought I wanted to share.
Yes. Thanks for your input, sir. One more question from Devanshi. For Jogekar, sir. Sir, if a pregnant lady have Viruddha Ahar, is there any possibility of mutation in genes for progeny? Is there any reference for the same, sir?
See, Ahar Vihar of the pregnant woman does affect the fetus. There are 6 factors in development of the fetus. The genes come from Mata and Pita, but the Ahara rasa of Mata is one more very important factor in development of this fetus. And that's why we have this masanumasic paricharya and everything to keep the mother's aharas healthy and pathyakara, so that there is no bija bhaga upatapti or bija bhaga dushti. It is more epigenetic effect. Means from mother and father come the genes, but the environment in the uterus, the supply of nutrients from placenta, all these come under epigenetics. And pregnancy in itself is battlefield. The fetus and mother, both genes are competing for nutrients and for nourishment. And ultimately, after 9 months, this war is over and the child is born. But during all that 9 months, it is not something which goes in peace. It is always a battlefield. For every need of the fetus produces some molecules which demand something from the mother. And if mother doesn't have that much stock, then mother resists or mother suffers. If from limited stock she gives something to the fetus, the mother suffers. The pregnancy anemia is one good example of this. So it's a battle, and during that battle, collateral damages can occur, and many of them can be single nucleotide polymorphisms, which may not affect the health as such, but sometimes they may induce diseases. The diabetic means gestational diabetes is one such example, and even the child of that diabetic mother can have diabetes, and all this is related to the quality of ahara rasa of the mother. So ultimately it comes to toxicogenomics, epigenetics.
Sir, Dr. Samta Tomar wanted to ask you one question regarding dosha of nirupana. If a research project can be conducted to see the toxicological interaction that occurs within the living system. I will repeat the question that based on the dosha aushad nirupan you stated, if the research project can be conducted to see the toxicological interactions that occur within the living system.
Definitely. Research project, actually a research project should be very specific. Means you cannot have a general project about various toxicants and their epigenetic effects. That is too vast. For research project, you should choose a particular toxicant and see its effects on various genes. That can be done. And that can be preclinical study also. You can even study on cell lines. You can even study on organoids. There are many ways to do these things. Nowadays, zebrafish or C. elegans or these fruit flies, those also can be used for the effects on genes. And these are very sort of cheap products, cheap studies. It is not very difficult to establish a fruit fly laboratory in your department because it takes 10 by 10 room is sufficient. Fruit flies can be, we can get the supply of specific kind of fruit flies and we can do the experiments. What we need is we should learn the technology.
Yes. Considering the time constraint, I thank here both the expert, and I will request all the participant to contact sir and Joglekar sir and Mahesh sir personally for their queries. And I now hand over this session to Shobhit Dave sir for vote of thanks. Over to Shobhit sir. Presenter
No.
ही है वो.
Make Shobit sir audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, Shobhit, you can proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to get an opportunity to deliver vote of thanks for this wonderful webinar. First of all, I thank management of Bharati Vidyapeeth to provide us the facilities in flawless conduction of this webinar. I, Dr. Shobhit Dave, on behalf of Department of Agadtantra BBU COA, express my sincere gratitude towards our two dignified speakers, Dr. Vishnu Joglekar sir and Dr. Mahesh Savalgimat sir, who spared time for us from their busy schedule and enlightened us about the topics. We will surely try to implement these in our learning processes, academic careers, and clinical practices. I thank our principal, Dr. Abhijit Patil sir, who worked as a catalyst and imparted the enthusiasm to conduct this webinar. I also thank whole staff of Department of Agadtantra who performed the given duties in sincere way and played a pivotal role in conduction of this webinar and making it a successful event. It would be an incomplete vote of thanks if I don't show the gratitude towards our ICT in charge, Dr. Sudeep Menon sir, and our social media coordinator, Dr. Dhananjay Patil sir, Dr. Sachin Kulkarni sir for his technical support and conducting this webinar in a flawless way. Lastly, I thank all the supporting staff, the attendees, without whom this webinar wouldn't be a success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. We will meet for next session also in near future. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.